Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, back for my post-market wrap-up on this Tuesday, January 15, 2019. What's wrong with this picture? And it's not me with this tie that's not done here. I'm getting myself ready for this, and I'm probably going to get some flack. I don't care. I really don't. But let's talk. You and me, we need to sit down and have a nice little chat. And that's exactly what we're going to do here on this lovely day. Let's start off with the basics. So, yet another over 200-point swing in the Dow Jones Industrial Average today. As a matter of fact, we made several triple-digit runs higher and lower throughout the lovely day. Yes, stocks did finish higher. At the high, the Dow Jones Industrial Average again was up about 190 points. The low, about 20. We finished up by about 155, despite the fact that we got several rounds of pretty abysmal economic news and poor earnings. Doesn't matter. We are literally back in the Obama era market. So with that said, I want to put a little light on a couple of things here. So, what has been going on as of late? Okay. Let's talk about the Federal Reserve. Let's specifically zero in on the lovely Janet Yellen. You know, they dusted her off lately, and we've been seeing a lot of poor Janet lately. You know, she's being puppetized. She's being used right now because Powell doesn't work. Every time they parade this guy out, Powell, the current Fed chair, when they parade him out, the market doesn't respond the right way. So they got Yellen out again, a part of the Obama market team to prop up this stock market, and it's working. I mean, it is working. No doubt about it. She shows her face. She does that little smile. She's like, is that sweet lady? You know, she comes out and all of a sudden the stock market starts, I was going to say something. I won't do it. I won't do that here right now at the present time. But the stock market starts getting a rise. You got my drift on that one? Okay, I think you do. So, what else did they do today? Again, in the face of bad economic news, in the face of poor earnings, well, they parade out not one, but two Fed presidents to say, hold on a minute, the Fed needs to stop here. Kashkari was one of them, and I forget who the other troll was. Some hideous-looking thing that they paraded out there. Same story, Fed needs to back off. You know, so hold on a minute. So the Fed needs to keep rates low. What does that mean? Okay, let's put a little perspective on that. That means that the Fed has to print cash out of thin air and buy the debt to keep rates suppressed. They can't just say it. You know that if you follow this blog. Fed has no magical powers. They actually have to get into the market. So let's see. China's not buying our debt now for almost a year. We now have, confirmation that the Federal Reserve is going to continue to keep rates low, print cash out of thin air, but their balance sheet is shrinking. How does that work? It's a lie. When you go to the Federal Reserve's website and you see the numbers going down, just laugh. Laugh as loud as you possibly can. I don't know, call random people and just laugh into the phone. Because, you know, you gotta discharge your, whatever you're trying to discharge somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. So you might as well go to random people, or maybe you want to tweet the president or something. Now, let's talk about this real quick. If you had to guess, what is the one thing that our president is doing right now different than every single other world leader and their world central bank, what would it be? I'll count to how about right now? How about this? 0. Every single world leader is doing exactly the same thing with their central bank. And that is having them print fiat currency out of thin air, buy debt, which is not on the elemental chart anywhere. It's just doesn't even really exist. To prop everything up, keep rates suppressed from here until kingdom freaking come. Now, a lot of effort has gone into getting the Fed to capitulate here. And again, I took my hat off to the president several times for this. But again, they're all playing the debt game. Let's talk about the debt game. Well, let's back up. Here in the United States, you know this, or at least you should. Debts and deficits continue to explode like we've never seen before. I'm not pulling this out of a hat. We're buying jobs. We're buying the stock market. That's all we're doing right now. The stock market is an entity among itself, completely disconnected from reality. But again, it's the Fed put. It's the Trump Fed put under the market. Now let's talk a little. Let's go back and look at the bigger picture. Here we are. We are now. Global debt has now hit a record high of $244 trillion. That is 3 times the current global economy. What could go wrong? Okay. Maybe nothing. Maybe it'll be 100,000 billion times the world economy. Okay. So should it be any secret to you that all the leaders of the world, including our president, who's supposed to end the Fed according to some very misguided people out here, they're all doing the same thing? I don't believe in coincidences that big, okay? No. I'm sorry to explain this to you for those who are of that mentality, who are being fist-fed by some of the misfits. I'm going to start referring to them as misfits here on YouTube that are pushing that narrative that the president wants to end the Fed and it is on track to do that. Again, let's put it into perspective. He now has the Fed doing exactly what the Fed wants. The power of world central banks exists in one thing: to issue debt in greater and greater amounts. It's their only product. Their product is debt. With every single world leader, not one exception, doing the same things at the same time at the behest of their central bank, should tell you something, okay? Our president needs the Federal Reserve right now to keep the market propped up, to backstop the market. He went as far as to send his guy, Mnuchin, can't even say the guy's name right, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, to 6 of the world's largest banks on Wall Street who run the Fed. You know that, right? You know that. So you can see where this is going. So stop being fist-fed. Stop being fist-fed. Don't believe a word of it anymore from any soul on YouTube or anywhere else that's trying to tell you that the president is trying to end the Fed. The president of the United States needs the Fed, wants the Fed, is in bed with the Fed, and everything else you can think about with the Fed. As every world leader is doing the same thing, so I'm not beating up on the president here. All right, so because I know I'm going to get hate mail, and that's kind of why I'm wearing this here, because I'm ready for it. I got a lot of hate mail today. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, we have debts and deficits exploding, feeding the monster, feeding the $244 trillion global debt monster that we are in right now. 3 times world, the entire world economy. It's 3 times the entire world economy right now with no end in sight. Just like here in the United States, our debts and deficits will continue to explode with no end in sight. And that's done on purpose to keep the Fed getting stronger. And every other world central bank, the more debt they can issue, the stronger they become. Why do you think they paraded out the lovely, and I must say pretty freaking hot, Janet Yellen, and the other 2 Frankenstein creations known as Fed presidents to say, oh, no, we got to keep rates low here. Why do Fed presidents now sound like the President of the United States? I'll let you ponder that, all right? It's pretty out there. It really is. The distortions are just immense. Only going to get worse here as the world runs off the rails. on a crazy train. Good song. Anyway, it is. It's like a crazy train, isn't it? Anyway, so let's back up. Let's summarize here. Stocks finished higher today on the back of bad economic news, poor earnings, with the promise of more easy money, with the promise of suppressed rates, making sure the Fed gets stronger. Every day that the Fed does this, they become stronger. Every day that World Central Bank issue their product, they all become stronger. All right? And not one world leader has any interest right now in fixing the problem. And I've discussed at length how it can be fixed, and I won't touch on it here. Again, I'm done doing that. Go if you want to see what it is, go through my archives or ask somebody about it, because I'm frankly sick of talking about it, because it doesn't matter. Not going to happen in this reality that we're in. It's twisted. All right, with that said, ponder these things. Ponder these things. And you can go out and tell every single other YouTuber that you know that Greg said you're an idiot for pushing the narrative that President Trump wants to end the Fed. And you can say that's from Greg Mannarino. Anyway, with that said, I love all of you. See you in the morning.